Okay, picture this. A samurai just finished with some serious sword work. You could almost hear the clang of steel fading.
Uh-huh.
And he sets down his sword, picks up a brush, and with that same intense focus starts painting calligraphy.
Right.
That blend of martial discipline
Yeah.
and artistic spirit, that's really the heart of what we're diving into today, Geido.
Yeah, and what's fascinating about that image is how perfectly it captures the essence. It's not just about the skill in wielding a weapon.
Right.
It's this artistic way woven right into Japanese martial arts. Think of it as a path where perfecting your technique goes, well, hand in hand with cultivating your spirit.
So it's about personal growth, achieved through mastering an art form, even a martial one.
Exactly. It's about the journey, the how you get there. You know, the dedication, the patience, the striving for a certain kind of beauty, even in the movements.
That seems just as crucial as the end result, whether that's a perfectly executed sword strike or a beautifully formed character in calligraphy.
Precisely. And traditionally, this applied to a whole range of Japanese arts, didn't it? Not just martial ones.
Right. Things like the incredibly nuanced world of no theater, the precise arrangements of flowers, kado or ikebana,
Yes, flower arranging.
flowing beauty of calligraphy, shodo,
Mm-hmm.
the meditative ritual, the tea ceremony, sadhu,
Yeah.
even making ceramics.
It's that deep focus on the process of mastery in all these different areas. That's the common thread.
And if we connect this to the bigger historical picture,
Mm-hmm.
you can really see how these ideas took root, can't you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The influence of Zen Buddhism is just key here. Think about the emphasis in Zen on being completely present in every single action.
That mindfulness.
Yes, that mindfulness, that focus on the here and now directly informed how martial arts began to be seen not just as fighting techniques, bujutsu,
Right.
but as a path for self-cultivation, Budo, especially during the more peaceful Sengoku and Edo periods.
When samurai had maybe more time or a different need.
Exactly. They started seeking deeper meaning in their training. It wasn't just about being a fearsome warrior anymore.
So they looked at these artistic disciplines and saw a kind of parallel.
That's right. The meticulous movements in a tea ceremony, for instance, or the countless repetitions in calligraphy,
Ah, I see.
they recognized that same dedication, that same focus was needed in their own kata, those prearranged fighting forms.
So they were channeling that artistic focus into their martial practice to hone not just the physical skills, but mental discipline too.
Mental, even spiritual discipline.
Yeah.
Which brings up that really important concept within Bushido, the samurai code, Unbu Ruju.
The unity of the pen and the sword.
Exactly. It wasn't enough to just be strong and skilled in combat. True mastery, they felt, required a cultivated and thoughtful mind.
Imagine the psychological impact, right? Striving for excellence in seemingly opposite fields.
Yeah, the discipline learned in one reinforces the other. It creates a more balanced, a more complete individual, you know?
Absolutely. It's that understanding that a truly capable warrior needed more than just, well, brute strength.
So you'd have samurai not only practicing their swordplay, but also composing haiku, maybe participating in tea ceremonies or creating ink paintings.
And these weren't just hobbies to pass the time?
Not at all. They were seen as integral practices for refining their minds, fostering a sense of humility, and achieving that crucial inner equilibrium.
And what's so compelling is how these foundational principles of Geido didn't just, vanish with the samurai era.
No, they really became ingrained in modern Japanese martial arts. Even though the original context of battlefield combat has largely faded,
Yeah, mostly.
that core idea of the artistic way as a means of personal growth and development remains absolutely central.
Which leads us perfectly into looking at how Geido actually shows up in specific martial arts today. Let's start with kendo,
Okay, kendo.
literally the way of the sword. Now, when you first see kendo, you see these dynamic matches with bamboo swords, the shinai, the sharp calls, the movements.
It's very striking.
But there's a really profound philosophy underneath all that action, isn't there?
Precisely. While its roots are definitely in samurai sword fighting, modern kendo is deeply invested in refining the mind and spirit. That strict etiquette you see.
The bowing.
Yeah, the bowing to your opponent, the formal bows towards the shogun, the front of the training hall. It's far more than just tradition. Think of it as a constant practice in respect and humility.
It sets the tone.
It sets the tone for the entire interaction.
Mhm.
And those practice patterns, the strikes and blocks executed with such precision, they might be described as a kind of violent dance, maybe.
Aha! Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But within that intensity is a real striving for beauty and controlled energy and focused intent.
Yeah, and when you look at the principles outlined by the All Japan Kendo Federation back in, what, 1975,
That's right.
it sounds less like a sports rule book and more like a guide for personal development.
It really does. They specifically talk about shaping both mind and body, cultivating a vibrant spirit, and they place a huge emphasis on courtesy, honor, sincerity, and that continuous journey of self-improvement. It really highlights that kendo goes way beyond just the physical act.
It truly does. And that powerful quote from Kendo master Nakakura Kiyoshi, Kendo begins and ends with Reiho, etiquette.
Yeah, that one's key.
It really underscores this fundamental aspect, doesn't it? It tells you that mental discipline and respect aren't just secondary considerations, they're the foundation.
The very foundation upon which the entire practice is built. Absolutely.
Okay, so you're in the dojo, you're engaged in kaiko, that intense training. It's not just about who can score the most points, is it?
Right.
There's this whole internal landscape being shaped.
Exactly. The physical exertion is just one facet. It's this incredible crucible for testing your endurance, your willpower.
You're not just battling the person across from you.
No, you're confronting your own fears, your own ego. That's why kendo becomes like a mirror, reflecting your current mental state. When that shinai is raised, the ideal is to achieve mushin, a mind free from doubt, filled with a calm yet highly focused awareness, like a still pond reflecting everything perfectly.
Machine. No mind. And the impact isn't limited to the dojo, right? That discipline, that focus, managing emotions under pressure.
Oh, absolutely. Those are all skills that translate directly into other areas of your life. Practitioners often find they have improved concentration at work.
I can imagine.
They interact with others with more courtesy, more consideration, and they develop a greater sense of inner calm and resilience when facing challenges outside of training.
That's Geido in action then. The journey along the way of the sword shaping the individual holistically.
Perfectly put.
Now let's switch gears a bit and talk about karate. It originated as a self-defense art in Okinawa, right?
Yes, its roots are there.
But it underwent a significant transformation into karate-do, the empty hands way, with a strong emphasis on this Geido philosophy.
That's right. And what's particularly interesting here is the pivotal role of Gichin Funakoshi. He was instrumental in bringing karate to mainland Japan.
Okay.
And he really emphasized that the ultimate aim of karate wasn't just about developing fighting skills, but about this lifelong pursuit of self-improvement through rigorous training.
And he gave us that really powerful quote, didn't he? The ultimate goal of karate lies not in victory or defeat, but in the perfection of the character of its participants.
That's the one. It completely reframes the purpose, doesn't it?
It really does. It shifts the focus from just winning a physical fight to this internal journey of building a better self.
Precisely. And you see this ethos reflected in the Dojo-kun, those ethical principles often recited at the end of karate training.
Like sincerity, effort.
Yes, striving for sincerity, putting forth maximum effort, cultivating self-control, respecting others. These aren't just abstract ideals. They're meant to be actively practiced through every single technique, every punch, every block, every kata.
Right. And those kata, those prearranged sequences of movements, they're more than just practicing techniques, aren't they? They feel almost like a moving meditation.
Exactly. That's a great way to describe it. The repetition isn't just about muscle memory for self-defense, though that's part of it. It's a process of refining technique, cultivating patience, deepening concentration. As your body learns balance and power, your mind learns calm, focus, determination.
Like a musician practicing scales.
Precisely. It's not just about hitting the notes. It's developing deeper understanding and control.
And this evolution from the earlier fighting techniques like Tode or Jutsu to karate-do, this way emphasizing Geido. It wasn't just random, was it?
No, not at all. There was a deliberate effort to elevate the practice. Funakoshi and other early masters understood that highlighting the character-building aspects
Made it more acceptable.
Exactly. It would make it more widely accepted within Japanese schools and society. By emphasizing the do aspect, they were consciously aligning it with other established Geido traditions like kendo and judo.
Which had already gained recognition as paths for personal development.
Right. And the result is that today, you have millions of people around the world practicing karate.
Huge numbers.
And for many, maybe even most, the primary motivation isn't necessarily becoming a fearsome combatant, but that journey of personal growth, both physical and mental.
And the lessons you learn in the dojo, getting back up after being knocked down, staying composed under pressure.
Incredibly valuable life skills. They extend far beyond the training hall into everyday situations.
Okay, now let's turn our attention to aikido. This one has a really distinctive origin story compared to kendo and karate, doesn't it?
It really does. It wasn't born out of, say, necessity for battlefield combat in quite the same way. It was created by Morihei Ueshiba, sensei,
Right.
as a martial art deeply rooted in principles of peace and harmony.
That's a crucial distinction. He was already a highly skilled martial artist, wasn't he? Jiu-jitsu and other things.
Oh yes, very accomplished. But through profound spiritual experiences and deep study of various philosophies, he developed aikido in the 1930s specifically as the way of harmony.
And the name itself, aikido, encapsulates this philosophy. Iki-do.
Precisely. AI for harmony or blending, ki for life, energy, or spirit, and do for the way or path. It's about finding a way to harmonize your own energy with the energy of the universe and even with the energy of an attacker.
How does that translate practically?
Well, in practical terms, it means techniques that often redirect an incoming attack's energy using circular flowing movements rather than meeting force head-on with force.
So it can look quite fluid, almost dance-like.
It can, yes. When executed well, it appears incredibly fluid, yet it remains a highly effective martial art.
And there's a big emphasis on elements like form, timing, balance, and maybe mindset, most importantly.
Absolutely. The training emphasizes staying relaxed yet completely vigilant, reacting to aggression without anger or hostility, and cultivating a deep respect for your training partner, your uke.
It's about finding inner harmony even when facing conflict.
That's the goal, that inner calm.
And I know that in many Aikido dojos, they practice Seiza, that formal kneeling meditation, often after training. That seems to connect strongly to that mental aspect.
It does. It provides a dedicated time for reflection, allowing practitioners to integrate the physical and mental aspects of their training. It's a way to cultivate that inner peace and centeredness that Ueshiba valued so highly.
And Ueshiba really saw Aikido as having a purpose beyond just personal development, didn't he? He saw it as a path towards broader peace.
Yes, absolutely. His philosophy was that the ultimate victory is to resolve conflict without resorting to violence at all, by harmonizing with the attacker's energy and intention.
He had that quote, didn't he, about destruction being the worst thing.
Yes, let me get it right. To injure an opponent is the last resort. To avoid injury, that is the real art. The real warrior is always engaged in a bloodless battle of wits. Or another version talks about preventing slaughter being the art of peace, the power of love.
Yes.
He truly believed that a true master is invincible, not because they can defeat everyone, but because they avoid conflict altogether, always seeking harmony over confrontation.
So the personal transformation through Aikido often goes beyond just the physical techniques.
Oh, definitely. Many practitioners talk about developing a deeper sense of inner peace, a greater feeling of self-confidence that isn't rooted in aggression,
Right.
and an increased capacity for empathy and understanding towards others. And as you mentioned earlier, just learning to fall safely and get back up.
Yukemi.
Yes, Ukemi. It becomes this powerful metaphor for building psychological resilience in navigating life's challenges, learning to yield and adapt.
So we've explored these three distinct martial arts, kendo, karate, aikido. And what's so striking is this unifying principle of Geido running through them.
Exactly. This idea that the training itself is a journey that profoundly shapes the individual on multiple levels, physical, mental, even spiritual.
And the philosophy behind Geido really boils down to some fundamental concepts, doesn't it?
It does. First, there's the absolutely crucial role of discipline and, well, repetition. Constant practice.
Like that samurai turning to calligraphy.
Exactly. That same unwavering dedication. Like a tea ceremony master, meticulously perfecting every single gesture. In martial arts, that constant practice isn't just building physical skill, it's forging willpower and laser-like focus.
And there's that Japanese proverb, right?
Yeah.
About 1,000 days and 10,000 days.
Yes. Practice 1,000 days, mastery 10,000 days. It really underscores that long, patient commitment that's so integral to achieving real skill and understanding in Geido. It's not a quick fix.
No quick fixes here. Then you have the strong ethical and spiritual values woven throughout.
Absolutely. The emphasis on etiquette, that Rei we talked about in Kendo, the profound respect for your training partners, your teachers, the space itself, these aren't just empty formalities.
No.
They are deliberate practices that cultivate humility and help to manage the ego. Learning to accept constructive criticism, learning to control your temper, even in intense sparring, these are essential.
It's really about a fundamental transformation of character, isn't it? Not just becoming a better fighter, but a better person.
Precisely. That ancient samurai wisdom, the most important victory is victory over oneself. It perfectly encapsulates this.
Overcoming your own negative tendencies, your weaknesses, within the dojo.
Leads to a stronger, more ethically grounded self in all aspects of your life, hopefully. That's the ideal.
And then there's this inseparable connection between the physical techniques and the mental state in Geido. They're totally intertwined.
Absolutely. You can't really separate them. Take an aikido throw, for instance. It's not just about physical strength. It's the seamless integration of balance, precise timing, and a calm, highly focused mind.
Or a powerful karate break.
Right. That's not just a feat of physical conditioning. It requires a mental breakthrough, a complete commitment of intent, total focus.
This is why martial arts practiced through the lens of Geido can be seen as a form of moving meditation, right? Sometimes called Zen in motion.
Exactly. It's striving for that state of satori, perhaps, that moment of intuitive action where there's no hesitation, no overthinking.
Just pure focused movement.
Like an artist completely absorbed in their creation, acting without conscious thought, that flow state.
Geido cultivates these moments of profound presence, the harmony between mind and body.
Yes. And finally, there's this inherent understanding of lifelong learning. The way, is never truly finished. There's always more to learn, more to refine.
Regardless of your rank or skill level.
Absolutely. Even the most senior and respected masters often see themselves as perpetual students on this continuous path. There's a real beauty and humility in that perspective, I think.
It really is.
You often see masters in their 70s, 80s, still training diligently, constantly seeking to deepen their understanding and refine their techniques.
So the way,
Yeah.
isn't a destination you arrive at.
No, it's the journey itself, and that mindset, continuous growth, open curiosity towards improvement, that's something that can enrich all facets of life, not just martial arts.
To really bring these principles to life, let's look at some inspiring examples of Geido in action. And we almost have to start with the legend, Miyamoto Musashi.
Musashi, yes. The seemingly invincible swordsman. What's so remarkable about him is that while he's celebrated for his, unparalleled skill with two swords, right, he was also a highly accomplished artist and writer. He produced these incredible ink wash paintings, like his famous Shrike on a withered branch. And he was a master of calligraphy. Just beautiful work.
And he firmly believed that understanding the fundamentals underlying all arts was crucial to his mastery of the sword.
He really did. He felt that practicing painting and poetry, for example, gave him fresh perspectives on strategy, timing, and the cultivation of patience, things he could apply back to his swordsmanship.
It wasn't separate.
Not for him.
For her.
And later in life, in retirement, he wrote the Go-Rin no-Sho, the Book of Five Rings, where he explicitly emphasized cultivating both one's spirit and one's craft.
His life truly embodies that essence of Geido, doesn't it? Seeing art in combat and combat in art.
Absolutely. His influence resonates deeply in both martial arts and artistic realms, even today. A true embodiment.
Another really compelling example is the role of the tea ceremony, shanoyu, in the lives of the samurai. It seems almost paradoxical.
It does, doesn't it? Fierce warriors engaging in such a delicate, highly ritualized practice.
But that's what makes it so insightful. There's that well-known story of Senoriki, the famous tea master, and Katu Kiyomasa, a formidable warrior.
Right. Kiyomasa, known for his ferocity on the battlefield, when he experienced the meticulous serenity of the tea ceremony under Riki's guidance,
He was struck by it.
profoundly struck by the level of intense focus and inner calm that was required just to perform the ritual correctly.
And he made a connection.
He realized that the very same unwavering concentration and mental stillness he needed for the precise movements of the tea ceremony.
Were also essential for staying calm and effective amidst the chaos of battle.
Exactly. Each gesture in the ceremony, in its own way, became a kind of kata, a practice in mindfulness and control.
So the tea ceremony actually became part of training for some samurai clans.
It did, in certain clans. It was seen as a powerful tool for tempering the mind, instilling humility, and cultivating that crucial inner peace that was just as valuable in war as it was in daily life.
That symbolic pairing, the deadly sword and the fragile tea bowl, it really represents that holistic development Geido aims for.
Beautifully put, yes. The synergy between them.
And Geido isn't just something confined to history books or legendary figures, is it? We see its principles in modern masters and everyday practitioners, too.
Oh, absolutely. Consider someone like Kenwa Mabuni, the founder of Shitoryu Karate. He deeply revered kata.
Saw them as a treasure.
Yes, exactly. A treasure containing centuries of accumulated knowledge and wisdom. He consistently encouraged his students to explore not just their practical applications, but also their inherent beauty and deeper meaning. the artistic aspect.
And you hear countless stories, don't you, of Aikido practitioners finding that the principles of conflict resolution, of blending, learned on the mat.
Have a tangible impact on how they navigate disagreements and challenges in their daily lives. With family, at work.
It transfers.
It really does seem to. And it's not just about the famous figures. It's about those quiet, personal transformations.
Like the shy teenager finding confidence through karate.
Exactly. Or the stressed executive finding balance and focus through Aikido, maybe becoming a more effective and thoughtful leader because of it. These are all living examples of Geido at work.
So the discipline, the respect, the perseverance developed in the dojo.
They have this remarkable ability to translate into all aspects of life, handling pressure, facing adversity calmly, treating others with more empathy.
So as we bring our deep dive into Geido to a close, it really circles back to the central idea, doesn't it? True mastery isn't just about external goals.
No, it's fundamentally about that ongoing journey of self-development and refinement through the dedicated practice of your chosen art, whatever that art may be.
Whether it's the elegant movements of kendo, the powerful kata karate, or the flowing techniques of aikido,
They all embody this deep commitment to dedication, ethics, and that lifelong pursuit of self-improvement, both in skill and, importantly, in character.
and it beautifully brings to mind that insightful quote from the Zen teacher Takuin Soho to a swordsman.
Oh, the one about the brush.
Yes. Do not let the sword simply be a weapon. Let it be a brush that writes your mind.
Ah, wonderful. It perfectly captures it. In the true spirit of Geido, each training session, each dedicated practice becomes another brushstroke.
In the ongoing creation of the practitioner's own unique art of living.
Exactly. We are all, in our own way, walking a similar path to those past warriors and artists who recognize this profound connection. We inherit that legacy.
So the final thought maybe to leave folks with is this. Geido teaches us that combat in its most refined form can be an art. And that life itself, with all its challenges and triumphs, is our ultimate dojo, our ultimate training hall.
It's a continuous journey where every obstacle overcome, every small victory, even every setback,
Yeah, the setbacks too.
becomes another brushstroke on the ever-evolving canvas of our character. It truly makes martial arts, in this deepest sense, a life art that extends far, far beyond the physical walls of the dojo.